What file system should I use for a bootable USB? When it comes to creating a bootable USB drive, the file system you choose plays a key role in how well it works. The right file system can make the difference between a smooth installation and a frustrating experience. So, let's break down your options. First up is File Allocation Table 32, commonly known as FAT32. This is the most widely compatible file system. It works with Windows, macOS, Linux, and even gaming consoles. If you want your USB to be recognized by many devices, FAT32 is a solid choice. However, it does have a limitation. Individual files cannot exceed 4 gigabytes. This can be an issue if your installation files are larger, like some Windows installation images. But for many Linux distributions and recovery drives, FAT32 is often the go-to option. Next, we have New Technology File System, or NTFS. This is the default file system for modern Windows operating systems. NTFS supports larger files, making it ideal for Windows installations, especially for Windows 10 and later. It also offers features like file compression and better security. However, there is a catch. Some non-Windows systems may not recognize NTFS as bootable. This can depend on the motherboard and whether you are using basic input-output system or unified extensible firmware interface. Then there is Extended File Allocation Table, known as exFAT. This system supports very large files and works with most modern operating systems, including Windows and macOS. It is optimized for flash drives, but it is not commonly used for bootable USBs. Many bootloaders do not support booting from exFAT partitions, which can limit its usefulness for installations. For those using Linux, there are file systems like X2, X3, and X4. These are native to Linux and support large files. However, they are not recognized by Windows or macOS without additional software. These file systems are typically used for Linux installations or live USBs, but not for Windows bootable USBs. So, what should you choose? If you are creating a bootable USB for Windows, especially Windows 10 or later, NTFS is usually the best option. It handles large files well and meets Windows installation requirements. If you need compatibility with multiple systems and your files are under 4 gigabytes, FAT32 is recommended. For Unified Extensible Firmware Interface Boot Mode, FAT32 is often necessary since many firmware implementations only boot from FAT32 partitions. For Linux bootable USBs, FAT32 is common due to its broad compatibility. However, some distributions may prefer ext4 or other Linux file systems based on their installer needs. Using tools like Rufus can simplify the process. It helps format the USB drive correctly and select the right file system based on your target operating system and boot mode. In summary, your choice of file system depends on the operating system you are installing, the size of your files, and the compatibility requirements across different devices. Each option has its strengths and weaknesses, so pick the one that best fits your needs.